So the first thing we are going to be doing here is to scale to the daily time frame. Let's see what is really going on this chart. So on the daily time frame, this is what we were able to have here. As you can see, let me do some readjustment here. So we have a supply zone here, which has been holding selling pressure since when was that? I think the month of June last year. So the last 6 months we have been witnessing selling pressure come in around the 148.400 level. So this whole area has been a strong selling niche for participants in this market in the last 6 to 7 months. And another thing about this current structure is this: since the demand zone was identified here, we can see price has continued to find higher lows, and as a result of this we have this bullish trend line figured out. However, during the third week of December last year, we saw the breakdown of that trend line, and also we saw the breakdown of this 143.00 level to give us a signal that sellers are likely coming in at this point. And with the breakdown of the trend line from a technical standpoint, we should be expecting that price will do a retest of structure, and it did happen. We saw the retest of structure on the last day of last year, and we saw this sell move that pushed price to the downside here. Though the year started on a bullish note, this is where price action started this year. We saw the situation here when price started at the 138 level. We saw buy pressure come in at the beginning of the year at the 138.00 area. So we saw the first touch here, and then we saw the second touch here during the course of last week's trading session. On the last day, sellers pushed price into the 138.00 level, and one thing you notice is that this 138 level is yet to be broken. So at this point we should notice that this level has been a strong buying niche in this market. If we go to as far back as the month of September, we saw how this level also was holding buy pressure at this point. And the same thing has happened here at the beginning of the year, and then at this point now we saw how we saw another rejection of that level during the course of last week's trading session. To be precise, on Friday we saw another rejection of that level. So at this point we need to understand what is really going on here to decide if we are going to be buying or selling the EURJPY for this week. So we have a channel here. So if we are going to be buying here, then we should at this point have our TP target sitting around the 143, which will be giving us about, let's see, about 400 pips if price moves in that direction. However, if a breakdown of the 138 happens, followed by selling pressure on our lower time frame below the structure, it will be a good position for us to join a sell momentum at this point. So this is what we are going to be looking at. But before we do that and understand what is happening here, we need to scale down to the lower time frame. Let's see what our price action has been reacting to the 138.00 level since the beginning of this week. So if we scale down to the 1 hour time frame here, this was what I was able to identify here on the 1 hour time frame. So that is the 143 level. Sorry, hold on a second, I want to attend to some. So I'm sorry for the breaking transmission. So I'm back and it's all fine. So right now we are on the 1 hour time frame, and one thing we observed here on the 1 hour time frame is the fact that we had this bearish move that started, when was that? On, I think, last week. We saw this bearish impulsive move which came into the 138 level, which we identified on the daily time frame. So let me bring this in so that we can see things more clearly here. So we have the 138. Let me do some readjustment to suit in this current structure. All right, so we have the 138 level, And one thing you would observe is this: as soon as price tested the 138 level, we saw how price continued to find higher lows at this point. And another thing I was able to identify is the fact that whenever we have a higher low like this, then definitely we are looking forward to a possible bullish momentum gradually coming in this market. And in addition to that is a technical structure I was able to identify here, which looks like a double bottom structure, which from a technical standpoint is a strong reversal pattern. And whenever we have a reversal pattern like this in the form of a double bottom structure, the next thing we want to be doing is to identify a neckline for the structure. And if we do that judiciously well and connect this rejection of the seller's rejection here, we can see that we have a simple structure here at the 138.800 level, which is going to be serving as a neckline for this week for any bullish momentum here. So whenever we have a neckline set like that, we want to be looking forward to a breakout retest of that neckline to give us a confirmation that this reversal pattern is now valid. And I think we already have that. So at this point, I will be advising us that we should be buying above the 138.00 level. So anywhere above the 138.00 level is a very good area for us to be buying the EURJPY or remain in a buy position on the EURJPY. So with that being said here, the next thing I will do is to make things a little bit easier for us to monitor during the New York session. Let's have a trend line also to support this current structure to guide our bullish momentum here. So we have a bullish trend line here after connecting the series of higher lows, and then we shall be using that to guide any bullish momentum at this point. So if you had missed out on this opportunity, that is the breakout of the 138.00 level, then you could wait out for structures to evolve in such a way that price climbs up a little bit, probably into the 139.4 or 500 level. Then you wait out and see if there's going to be a retest of structure, which will be sharing a confluence with that bullish trend line. And if buy pressure comes in on our lower time frame, then you want to be adding more position to our existing trade. And if you are not yet in this trade, it will be a good opportunity to buy at that point. Now, if that does not happen, well, we have another structure to look out for at the 139.500, which is a strong psychological level considering the round figure of that price. So we have the 139.500 here. As you can see, we have a resistant level at that point. If we bring out our line chart, bring back our candle chart, now you can see selling pressure around this level. So price is approaching that structure. So for the sake of clarity, let me label this. So we have 139.500 level. All right, so I'll place it at the top right hand side of my screen. Okay, so if price does not come back and do a retest of structure to incite another wave of bullish momentum, then if price continues to the upside, breaking out of the 139.500 level, this will be another opportunity to join that rally to the upside. So these are the scenarios we shall be looking forward to on the EURJPY. I hope Steamroller is still in the house. If you have any questions regarding what I just explained so far, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section. Now, another thing that caught my attention is this. Considering the fact that we are on a bearish momentum, at least since the beginning of the year, we should also take into consideration the possibility that sellers could likely come in. And if you remember what I told you on the daily time frame, I told you how important the 138 level is since the beginning for the last since I think last 6 months, I guess. It has been a major buying niche for participants in this market. And like I told you, for us to sell, we might want to wait for price breaking down this level to give us that confirmation that bearish signal is coming in. But we might not wait for that breakdown to happen. And the only way we can take advantage of it is to position ourselves that is below the 138.800. If a breakdown of this bullish trend line happens, then we want to be seeing this as a bearish signal. That is, that trend line is no longer strong enough to hold selling buying momentum. But we don't want to get too excited. We'll wait for a retest of the structure, look out for selling pressure on our lower time frame, then we could actually join that decline to the downside. and if a further breakdown of the 138.00 level happen, taking out this buy position here, then we'll be looking forward to adding more position to our existing trade at the site of selling pressure below that structure. So this is what we are going to be looking forward to sell the EURJPY for this week. So that is my scenario here. If you have any questions, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section of this video. Okay,